farther into the vision. And when it did, I was standing with a little baby shoe of about a year old, the little bitty aisle. It's not a booty, but a shoe. And I had a string in my hand trying to lace this little 1/8 of an inch hole in this eyelet with about a 1/2 inch string, just working fervently, trying to push that string through that 1/2 inch string through an 1/8 of an inch eyelet. And I was breaking the threads all over the string, trying to push it through like that, and it just wouldn't do it, and the string was being all broke up on the end. So, just then, I heard someone say behind me, "Don't you understand that you can't teach babies supernatural things?" I looked around, and it was behind me, and I recognized that voice. He said, "You're using the wrong end of the string." And I looked down at the end of the string laying on the floor, a great pile of string, and it was laced down to a nice 1/8 of an inch so it would go through the hole. I said, "I understand." And as I reached to pick up the string, I was taken again. How you mark this down. Watch it come to pass. And as I started to reach down, I was gone again. Then when I come to, I was standing by the side of a beautiful lake, something like your lake out here in the summertime when it's real pretty and green. And there were fishermen all around the lake, and they were fishing, but they were catching small fishes. And I looked out into the lake, and those great, beautiful rainbow trout out there, and I said, "I know this is a vision, but I can't understand those trout." But I said, I believe right down in my heart I can catch those. So I picked up the string, but instead of it being a string, it was a fishing pole. And just then the one behind me said, "Now I'll teach you to fish how to catch those." And so he took, and he said, "Tie on the lure," and I snapped the lure on. He said, "Now throw way out." Now listen close. Way out into the deep. And he said, "When you do, now let the lure sink down first." Then said, "Pull it slow." Now that's really fisherman's technique. So I said, "Then when you do, now you'll feel some nibbles at it, but don't tell nobody what you're doing. Keep it to yourself." And said, "Then when you feel it nibble again," said, "pull it just a little bit, but not too hard." He said, "And then it'll pull it away from the little fish, and when they scatter, that'll attract the attention of the big fish, and they'll grab it." And said, "That's the way you'll catch it." So then when he bites on the third time, set your hook for the catch. Now I said, "I understand." He said, "But keep still. Don't tell nobody. Keep still." And I said, "All right." And I had the lure in my hand, and all these fishermen turned out to be ministers. And they all come around saying, "Brother Branham, I know you can catch fish." Oh, of course, that made me feel real good. I said, "Oh, yes, I'm a fisherman. I can catch fish." And I said, "Now, here's the way you do it." And I said, "You throw it way out." And I went way out into the deep water. And I said, "Now, those little fish are fine, brethren, but we want the big ones too." And I said, "See, when it sinks down, I see there it is, just about where it should be. Now, see there them's little fish." I said, "Now when it sets again," and I gave it a great big jerk, and when I did, I pulled the whole lure out of the water. And when I did, I caught a fish. But I wonder how he ever got the lure in his mouth, because it looked like the skin was stretched over the lure, about the same size of the lure. And I thought, oh my. And just then, this one who had been talking behind me stepped around in front of me. It was him, the angel of the Lord. He had his hands folded. He looked at me, said, "Just what I told you not to do." And I said, "Yes, that's right." He said, "You see, that first pull was when you used to put your hands on the people and tell them what was their trouble. Said the second pull was when you'd know the secrets of the heart like I told you. And said instead of you keeping that to yourself, You tried to explain all about it and tell people, and when you did, said you didn't know nothing about it yourself. And how could you explain it? And you caused a big bunch of carnal impersonations to rise up, and you see what you've done. And I said, Lord, I'm sorry. And I said, I'm so sorry, I don't know what to do. And I was pulling the line like this, and I was trying to straighten my line out, and he looked at me and said, now don't get your line tangled up in these kind of times. And I thought maybe he's going to give me another trial. And I said, I'll sure be careful, and was winding my line in, seeing it taken up all right. And then when he said that, just then I felt myself go higher, way up. And when I was set down, then I was